the casket lowered into the red Georgia clay like a secret finally buried, and that's when Savannah whispered it into the humid air, her voice cracking like thunder over the pines. I can't pretend anymore, Nina. Not after this. Rain began to fall in sheets, soaking the mourners' black umbrellas into useless shields, but I stood there frozen, the words she'd hidden for a decade unraveling in my chest like a noose finally loosening. Too late or just in time. The preacher droned on about eternal rest, oblivious to the real grave being dug between us, one lined with lies and old money. I had driven through the night from Atlanta, the highway blurring into a ribbon of regret, because even after 10 years of shadows and stolen glances, Savannah's call had pulled me back to Monroe like gravity. Monroe, that sun-bleached town where the magnolias bloomed defiant against the cracked sidewalks, where her family's estate loomed on the hill like a crown of thorns disguised as privilege. She was the heiress to it all, the sprawling hawthorn plantation, with its white columns stained by time and its fields whispering of fortunes built on forgotten labor. And I was Nina Reyes, the mechanic's daughter from the wrong side of the tracks, the one who fixed engines by day and mended hearts by night in the dim glow of our hidden motel rooms. That funeral was supposed to be her mother's send-off, a ritual of polished grief under the watchful eyes of aunts in pearl necklaces and uncles with bourbon breath, all guardians of the Hawthorne legacy. But as the dirt pattered on the lid, Savannah's hand found mine in the crowd, brief, electric, a spark that could ignite the whole damn tinderbox. Stay, she mouthed, her green eyes fierce against the gray sky, and I nodded because what else could I do? We'd built our love on quicksand, each step a risk, each touch a theft from the life she was chained to. 10 years of this dance. Her in silk dresses at galas, me in grease-stained jeans at the garage, meeting in the in-between places where no one from her world would look. The reception sprawled across the plantation's veranda, crystal glasses clinking like accusations, the air thick with fried chicken and veiled condolences. Savannah's father, Harlan, held court by the oak tree, his silver hair slicked back, his voice booming about carrying on the family name, as if it were a sacred torch. He glanced at me once, his eyes narrowing like he recognized the stain of my world on her sleeve, a smudge of engine oil she'd forgotten to wash off from our last hurried embrace. I hovered on the edges, nursing a sweet tea that tasted like regret, watching her navigate the room like a tightrope walker over an abyss. Nina, she said later, slipping away to the garden where the azaleas bled pink against the dusk. Her dress clung to her like a second skin, rumpled from the day's weight. You came. God, I didn't think you would. Her fingers brushed my wrist, a habit from our early days, when touches were maps we drew in the dark. I wanted to pull her close, to drown in the scent of her jasmine perfume mixed with rain-soaked earth, but the house lights flickered like spotlights, and voices carried on the wind. Why wouldn't I? I replied, my voice low, the words laced with the hurt I'd banked for years. You called. That's more than I've gotten in months. The truth hung between us, sharp as the thorns on the rosebush nearby. Our last fight had been over the phone, her whispering apologies from a charity ball in Atlanta, me pacing my tiny apartment above the garage, the roar of semis on a 85 mocking my solitude. She leaned against the stone wall, her shoulders slumping. Mama's gone and it's like, the air's thinner now. She knew, about us. Not all of it, but enough to make her warn me every Sunday after church. Savannah's laugh was bitter, a sound I'd come to recognize as the echo of her cage. Her mother, Evelyn Hawthorne, had been the architect of that cage, prim Bible quoting with a smile that hid steel. She doled out Savannah's future like inheritance shares. The estate, the trust funds, the expectation of a husband from the right bloodline, all contingent on upholding the Hawthorne honor. Lesbian love? It was a scandal whispered in back pews, a sin that could strip you bare. I stepped closer, the gravel crunching under my boots. And you listened. For 10 years you let her pull the strings. The accusation slipped out softer than I meant, but it landed like a slap. Her eyes flashed, the green darkening to storm. You think it's that simple? This place, Nina, it's not just land. It's her ghost in every corner. Father's expectations in every ledger. If I step out, they take it all. And what then? We scrape by in your world, pretending it's enough. Her words stung, echoing the divides we papered over with passion. My world. The garage where transmissions groaned like broken promises. The diner where waitresses called me Han with pity in their eyes. Hers. debutante balls and board meetings, where queerness was a phase to outgrow, not a truth to claim. The garden gate creaked and we sprang apart like guilty teenagers. It was her cousin Lila, all southern drawl and curious glances, carrying a tray of pecan pies. "Y'all out here philosophizing? Harlan's asking after you, Save." Lila's eyes lingered on me a beat too long, a flicker of something suspicion? Solidarity? In Monroe, lines blurred but judgments stuck like humidity. As night deepened, the house emptied, leaving echoes in the halls. I slipped upstairs to the guest room they'd awkwardly assigned me, the four-poster bed swallowing me whole. Sleep evaded, my mind replaying the day's fractures. The way Savannah's hand had trembled in mine at the grave, the unspoken plea in her voice. 10 years. We'd met in college at Emory, two worlds colliding in a lecture hall on Southern literature. Her scribbling notes on Faulkner, me debating the ghosts in his prose. One coffee led to a kiss in the library stacks, and suddenly we were a secret symphony. Weekend getaways to the coast, coded texts, her visiting my family's ramshackle farm in the hills under the guise of study sessions. But graduation had been the fork in the road. She returned to Monroe, to the plantation's pull. I bolted to Atlanta, chasing independence in the city's indifferent sprawl. Still we clung. Bi-weekly drives, her SUV pulling up to my curb at midnight, windows fogging with urgency. "Just until I can breathe free," she'd promise, her lips tracing apologies on my collarbone. Until became a decade, marked by her mother's worsening health, the family's tightening grip. A knock shattered the quiet. Savannah, in a robe that smelled of her, slid into the room like smoke. I couldn't sleep down there. Father snoring like a freight train. She curled against me, her head on my shoulder, and for a moment the world shrank to this, her breath sinking with mine, the rain pattering a lullaby on the roof. "Tell me about her," I murmured, fingers tracing lazy circles on her arm. "Your mama. What she said that last time." Savannah tensed, then sighed. "She called me to her bedside a week ago. Weak as a kitten but eyes sharp. Don't throw it away, child. The Hawthorne name is bigger than your whims." Whims. That's what she called us. Her voice broke and I held her tighter, the ache in my chest mirroring hers. Evelyn had never met me, but she'd sensed the threat. A woman who could unravel the threads of propriety. We lay there, whispering fragments of what's a life in Vermont, far from the magnolias, where we'd adopt strays and argue over quilt patterns. But dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, and she rose, pressing a kiss to my forehead. "Breakfast soon. Act normal." Normal. The word tasted like ash. Downstairs, the kitchen buzzed with kin. Aunts stirring grits, uncles nursing coffee, Lila eyeing us over her mug. Harlan presided, his gaze landing on me like a verdict. "Miss Reyes, isn't it? Savannah's old college chum. What brings you back to our little corner of hell?" His tone was jovial, but the undercurrent ran cold. "Paying respects, sir," I said, meeting his stare. "Evelyn was kind to me once, years back." A lie, small and necessary, but it twisted in my gut. He nodded, satisfied for now, and turned to Savannah. "The reading of the wills tomorrow. Lawyers from Savannah, proper ones. We keep things tight, family only." The exclusion was deliberate, a velvet glove over the fist of tradition. As plates clattered, Savannah's foot nudged mine under the table. A Morse code of endurance. But endurance has limits, and mine frayed with every stolen glance. Later, in the stables where horses nickered softly, she cornered me. "Don't let him get to you. After the will, maybe. We talk. Really talk. Talk." I echoed, the word hollow. Or more hiding. The question lingered unanswered, as thunder rumbled distant, promising storms. The day dragged, a procession of memories. Sifting through Evelyn's attic, boxes of yellowed photos showing a young Harlan and Evelyn at debutante balls. Savannah as a gap-toothed girl on a pony. Each artifact a chain link. By evening, fatigue settled like dust, and I wandered the grounds alone, the sunset painting the fields in blood oranges and bruised purples. Monroe at twilight was deceptively beautiful. The kind of place that lured you in with charm and held you with guilt. Savannah found me by the pond, skipping stones that sank without ripple. "Remember our first summer here? You snuck in over the fence and we swam till midnight." Her smile was a ghost of that girl, free before the wait. I remember waking up to shotgun blasts from your daddy's gamekeeper. We laughed, the sound fragile, but it bridged the gap for a breath. Then her phone buzzed, Harlan, summoning her for family matters. She went, leaving me with the frogs' chorus and the growing certainty that tomorrow's will would seal our fates. Her bound tighter, me adrift. That night, in the guest room's creaking silence, I penned a note on hotel stationery. 10 years is enough. Choose or lose me. I didn't leave it. Instead, I folded it into my pocket, a talisman against the unraveling. Morning brought the lawyer, a bespectacled man from the city with a briefcase full of legalese. The parlor, with its velvet drapes and crystal chandelier, felt like a courtroom. Harlan at the head, ants fanning themselves, Lila perched watchful. Savannah beside me on the settee, her knee brushing mine, a lifeline. The reading unfolded like a slow poison, bequests to charities, shares to cousins, then the plantation to Savannah, with clauses that twisted like kudzu. Contingent upon maintaining the family residence and upholding traditional values, the lawyer intoned, his voice flat. Traditional. The word echoed, loaded with subtext. No scandals, no deviations, no me. Harlan's eyes gleamed. See? Mama knew. It's yours, girl, if you play it right. Savannah's face paled, her hand clenching mine out of sight. The room spun with murmurs, congratulations laced with warnings. As they filed out, she lingered, whispering, "This changes nothing." But it changed everything. The inheritance wasn't just land. It was her identity, forged in the fires of expectation. And I was the spark that could burn it down. We escaped to the attic that afternoon, dust motes dancing in sunbeams like fireflies. Boxes of her mother's letters spilled open, words of caution and love intertwined. Be the lady I raised. One read, ink faded but intent sharp. You're trapped, I said, holding a faded debutante gown. And I'm the fool who waited. She whirled, eyes blazing. Trapped? This is my home, Nina. My blood. You think running to Atlanta makes you free? Your garage, your endless shifts. That's chains too, just cheaper ones. The barb hit home, drawing blood. We'd danced this waltz before, her defending the gilded cage, me scorched by its bars. At least my chains don't pretend to be wings. I shot back, voice rising. 10 years of motels and lies. I'm tired, save. Tired of being your ghost. She crumpled against a trunk, tears carving tracks through the dust. I know. God, I know. But Mama's barely cold and Father's watching. Give me time. Time. The thief we'd fed for a decade. I knelt, pulling her close, our foreheads touching in the dim light. How much more? The kiss that followed was desperate, a reclaiming amid the relics. Her hands in my hair, my fingers on her waist. Familiar terrain mapped by memory. For those stolen minutes, the attic was our world, echoes of passion drowning the creaks below. But footsteps ascended, Lila calling for tea. We parted breathless, the air charged with unresolved lightning. Dinner was a minefield. Harlan toasting Evelyn's unwavering principles, his gaze pinning Savannah like a butterfly. She nodded through it, her foot still seeking mine under the damask cloth. Lila watched, her silence louder than words, until she leaned in post-meal. Y'all are louder than you think. Attic floors carry sound. Savannah froze, color draining. What do you mean? Lila's smile was wry, almost kind. Just saying, blood's thicker than secrets in this house. Be careful. She slipped away, leaving us adrift in the parlor's hush. That night, sleep came fitful, dreams of sinking ponds and locked gates. Savannah crept in again, her body molding to mine like a key. Lila knows, she murmured. Or suspects. We have to. End it. The words escaped before I could cage them. No. Fierce, her grip tightening. Fight for it. After the burial tomorrow we go away. Just us. Hope flickered, fragile as a moth. We made love then, slow and reverent, the rain a curtain against the world. Her whispers of forever mingled with my doubts, but in her arms I believed. Dawn broke muggy, the burial a somber echo of the first. The family plot, ringed by iron fences, swallowed Evelyn whole. Harlan recited psalms, his voice gravelly with unshed tears. Savannah stood rigid, clutching a locket, her mother's, engraved with honor above all. As the last prayer faded, she turned to me, the crowd thinning. Now, she said, linking our arms openly for the first time. Heads turned, whispers rippling like wine through cotton. Harlan's brow furrowed, but he said nothing, striding ahead. Back at the house, the air crackled. Lila cornered us in the hall. Bold move, cousin. Daddy dearest won't like it. Savannah lifted her chin. Then he can disinherit me. I'm done hiding. My heart swelled, terror and triumph entwined. But Harlan summoned her to the study, door clicking shut like a gavel. I paced the veranda, the swing creaking under my weight, until voices rose, his thunder her defiance. You'd throw away your birthright for that. His finger jabbed toward me through the window. It's not throwing away. It's claiming my life. Her cry pierced the glass. Silence stretched, then the door flew open. Harlan emerged, face ashen, eyes on me like daggers. You. Out. Now. Savannah burst after. No, father. She's staying. We both are. He laughed hollow. The will's clear. Traditional values. Or you lose it all, the land, the money, everything mama built. Her hand found mine, trembling but firm. Then let it burn. The words hung, a declaration of war. As he stormed off, muttering of lawyers and legacies, Savannah pulled me close, the veranda's rail digging into my back. We're free, she breathed. But freedom's price echoed in the empty fields, and as night fell, I wondered if we'd just traded one cage for another's shadow. The days following blurred into a tense standoff, the plantation a battlefield of silences and slammed doors. Harlan retreated to his study, poring over documents with a Savannah lawyer flown in from the city, their murmur seeping through the oak panels like smoke. Savannah and I moved through the house like insurgents, claiming spaces we'd once tiptoed. Breakfast lingered over coffee on the sun porch, her laughter ringing freer as we walked the orchards, picking peaches that burst juice down our chins like shared secrets finally ripe. Yet the undercurrent pulled, relentless. Lila became our unlikely ally, slipping us notes on Harlan's moods. Storm brewing, stay low. And sharing cigarettes on the back stoop, her own stories spilling out like contraband. Aunt Evelyn tried to marry me off to that banker from Augusta once. I told her I'd sooner wed the river. Secrets run deep here, but so does backbone. Her wink held solidarity, a thread in the fraying hawthorn tapestry. I called my garage in Atlanta, voice steady as I arranged leave. Take all the time, Nina, my boss grunted, the line crackling with unspoken understanding. Monroe's gravity was a known thief, stealing weeks from the unwary. But this time I wasn't running back alone. One afternoon, rain lashed the windows as Savannah led me to the attic again. Not for passion but excavation. We unearthed Evelyn's journals, leather-bound tomes chronicling a life of quiet rebellions. A youthful flirtation with a female tutor in Paris, quashed by family decree. Letters burned in haste after Harlan's proposal. She loved once wildly, Savannah read aloud, her voice thick, and chose the cage anyway. For stability. For the name. The revelation hung, a mirror to our precipice. Will you? I asked, tracing the faded script. She closed the book, eyes fierce. No. We're her unfinished sentence. That night, Harlan called a family council in the dining room, crystal decanters glinting under the chandelier like accusatory eyes. Aunts and uncles gathered, faces etched with discomfort. Lila at the far end nursing Sherry. Savannah and I sat side by side, hands linked on the mahogany, defiant, unyielding. You've shamed us, Harlan began, his voice a low rumble. Evelyn's barely in the ground and you parade this. Indiscretion like it's pride. It's love, father. Savannah's tone cut clean. Not indiscretion. And parading? We've hidden it for 10 years to spare you this very discomfort. Gasps rippled, forks pausing mid-air. An aunt dabbed her eyes, murmuring of scandal. Harlan leaned forward, veins bulging. 10 years? Christ, girl. All those trips to Atlanta, the friends from college. Wasted. The will stands. Uphold the values or forfeit. Then I forfeit. The words dropped like stones into still water, ripples widening. Harlan's face twisted. Rage, grief, the raw edge of a man watching his empire crack. You'd beggar yourself for her? He jabbed a finger at me. Some grease monkey from the holler? Nina Reyes reduced to a slur. Heat rose in my cheeks, but Savannah's grip anchored me. Her name's Nina. And yes, the The land's yours to keep or sell. My heart's mine to give. The room erupted. Uncles thundering about legacy. Aunts wailing propriety. Lila's voice cut through, calm as creek water. Uncle times shift. Mama, God rest her, clung to old ways till they choked her. Let the girl breathe. Harlan slumped, the fight leaching from him like color from a faded flag. Get out. All of you. We'll reconvene when reason returns. We fled to the stables, rain drumming on tin roofs, horses stamping unease. Savannah buried her face in my shoulder, sobs muffled. I meant it. Every word. I held her, the scent of hay and wet earth grounding us. Then what's next? We can't stay in limbo. She pulled back, eyes red-rimmed but resolute. We build. Sell what we can, start small. Vermont. That cabin you dreamed of with the lake. The vision tempted. A life unscripted. Hands callous from chopping wood instead of hiding. But doubt whispered. Could privilege's child thrive in simplicity's soil? Word spread through Monroe like kudzu. Vines of gossip choking the diner, the feed store, the church steps. My old truck, parked brazenly by the plantation gates, drew stares, curious, condemning, a few nods of quiet approval from the edges, where queerness bloomed in hidden gardens. A week in, Lila dragged us to the local bar on the outskirts, a dive called the Rusty Nail where neon buzzed and jukebox twang filled the air. You need allies, she said, sliding us whiskeys. Locals eyed us. Farmers in flannel, waitresses with knowing smiles but no pitchforks. One, a weathered woman named May from the tobacco fields, clapped Savannah's shoulder. Heard about your stand, missy. Takes guts in this town. My sister's got a room if you need it, clean cheap. Gratitude swelled, a balm on the raw edges. As we drove back, stars pricking the velvet sky, Savannah's hand on my thigh felt like promise. See? Not everyone's a villain. But Harlan struck back subtle. The lawyer's letter arrived at dawn, crisp and cold, outlining the forfeiture. Plantation deeded to a trust for upright kin. Funds frozen pending compliance. Savannah read it aloud, voice steady, then tore it to confetti, scattering it from the veranda like dove wings. We'll fight, she declared, but the tremor in her chin betrayed the cost. Nights deepened our bond, bodies entwining in the guest room turned sanctuary. Whispers weaving futures from frayed threads. Yet mornings brought Harlan's ghost. His chair empty at breakfast, his absence a louder judgment than words. Lila uncovered the next blow. Harlan courting a developer from Texas, whispers of subdividing the land for condos, erasing Hawthorne history for profit. He's unraveling, she confided over porch swings. Grief's twisting him ugly. Savannah confronted him in the study, door ajar. I lingered outside, heart pounding. Selling Mama's legacy? To strangers. It's practical, he growled. Someone has to think of the future since you won't. The future's not condos, father. It's us living true. A pause heavy. Us? You'll regret this, mark my words. Love like yours? It fades. Leaves you hollow. Her reply was steel. Better hollow than haunted. I slipped away before he emerged, the exchange fueling my resolve. That evening we packed boxes, not fleeing but preparing. Books to Atlanta, linens to donate, Evelyn's journals to safeguard. A storm hit that night, wind howling like banshees, lightning fracturing the sky. Power flickered, plunging the house into primal dark. Harlan wandered the halls, lantern in hand, a specter of the man he'd been. He paused at our door, silhouette looming. Savannah, he called, voice cracked. Come talk. She rose, squeezing my hand. Stay here. Their murmurs carried, apologies veiled as arguments, grief spilling unchecked. I failed her, he admitted. Pushed too hard. Don't let me fail you too. Her response was soft, a bridge extended. Then let go, father. Let me be. Silence, then footsteps retreating. She returned, collapsing beside me. He's breaking. But maybe. Mending. Dawn washed the world clean, birdsong piercing the calm. Over coffee, Harlan joined us, tentative, eyes downcast. The developer's off. For now. No warmth but a thaw. It wasn't absolution, but a foothold. As weeks turned, fragile routines formed. Shared meals where Barb softened to banter, Lila mediating with wry humor. Savannah and I explored beyond Monroe. Day trips to the coast, salt air scouring old wounds, hands clasped openly on boardwalks where tourists smiled oblivious. Yet betrayal's shadow lingered. One evening, rifling mail, Savannah found it. A letter from Atlanta postmarked my garage. Inside, a photo, us entwined in a motel parking lot years back, snapped by some shadow. No note, but the implication screamed. Someone from her world had weaponized our past. Who? She whispered, face ashen. Harlan, denying hotly when confronted. But doubt seeded, trust's fragile bloom wilting. The photo's poison seeped slow, coloring every glance, every casual question. Who had tailed us to that flea bag in Brunswick 5 years past, when Savannah's business trip masked our anniversary escape? Her family. A jealous ex from her debutante days, those whispered courtships staged for show? Or worse, a local Monroe's eyes ever watchful, monetizing malice for Harlan's ear? We burned the print in the kitchen sink, flames licking glossy lies, but embers lingered in our talks. It changes nothing, Savannah insisted, but her sleep grew restless, body curling away in the night as if guarding flanks. Lila's network, barmaids, church ladies, the feed store clerk, yielded whispers. A private eye from Savannah, Harlan's desperate bid to uncover the truth before the will's ink dried. He confessed over bourbon one twilight, glass trembling. I had to know. For the family. For your control, she corrected, voice ice. You spied on my heart. He looked away, the magnolia's shadow veiling shame. I was scared. Of losing you like I lost her. The admission cracked something. A door ajar, forgiveness's draft sneaking in. But trust, once shattered, rebuilds jagged. I retreated inward, grease under nails from tinkering with the old Ford in the barn, engines growl, a therapy louder than words. Savannah joined sometimes, sleeves rolled, learning wrenches like lifelines. Teach me to fix what's broken, she'd say, oil smudging her cheek like war paint. Harlan's thaw accelerated. Invitations to town events, his arm offered tentatively at the county fair, where Ferris wheels spun laughter against the harvest moon. Monroe softened too. Nods at the market, a waitress comping our pie with a "y'all make a fine pair." But undercurrents swirled. Graffiti on the garage I'd borrowed, sinner scrawled in red, washed away by dawn but staining soul deep. The real fracture came mid-autumn, leaves carpeting the drive like fallen soldiers. Savannah's phone rang during supper. Atlanta area code, her old firm's partner, voice oily through speaker. Hawthorne, we miss your touch. Board position open if you reconsider certain distractions. Distractions. Me. She hung up, face flushed, but the seed took. Opportunity's siren call, whispering of power sans sacrifice. That night, our lovemaking turned urgent, edged with desperation, her nails raking as if to anchor. I choose you, she gasped, but dawn brought distance. Her at the desk, spreadsheets glowing, eyes distant. I confronted her in the orchard, wind stripping leaves like truths. What's pulling you back? Nothing. Too quick. Just planning. We need income, Nina. The trust's frozen, sales take time. Planning or plotting escape? The words wounded us both, echo of old fears. She whirled, apples tumbling. You think I'd trade us for a corner office? After everything? Then prove it. Cut the ties. No more calls, no maybes. Her silence stretched, a chasm widening. It's not that simple. The world's not kind to dreamers without a net. The net. Privilege's parachute billowing while I free fell. We parted bruised, her to the house, me to the hills where my family's farm crouched, unchanged, ramshackle barn, mama's garden overgrown with wild mint. Visiting there grounded me. Siblings teasing over cornbread, daddy's quiet pride in my city ways. Love ain't easy, girl, he said, pipe smoke curling. But hiding it? That's death slow. Back at the plantation, reconciliation simmered. Notes slipped under doors, forgive my fear. Walks where hands reclaimed spaces. But the photo's ghost multiplied. Another arrived, this from college, us laughing in the quad. Anonymous threat escalating. Expose or else. Panic crested. We went to the sheriff, a burly man with a mustache like handlebars, who nodded sympathetic but warned. Folks round here protect their own. Might be best to lay low. Laying low meant isolation. Curtains drawn, drives at odd hours, Lila standing guard with shotgun tails. Harlan, apprised, raged anew. This is what your choices bring. but then softened, hiring a private firm to trace the sender. Days blurred, tension coiling like storm clouds. Relief broke sudden. The PI's report pinned it on Harlan's own hire. A disgruntled cousin from Macon, bitter over slim bequests, aiming to fracture the family for gain. Harlan confronted him at a neutral diner, voices rising till fists flew. Old man defending his daughter's honor. A twist no one scripted. The cousin slunk away, tail between legs, but the damage rooted deep. Savannah withdrew further, poring over ledgers, fielding calls from Atlanta veiled as consults. One evening I found her in the study, Harlan's old haunt, drafting a resignation, no a proposal. Hybrid life, her consulting remote, us splitting time between Monroe and city lights. It's compromise, she pleaded, eyes pleading. Not betrayal. Compromise. I echoed, heart sinking. Or half measures like always? The fight erupted, words as shrapnel. Her accusing my rigidity, me her addiction to approval. 10 years of halves save. I'm whole or nothing. She stormed out, car keys jangling, tires spitting gravel toward the highway. Hours ticked, phone silent, my vigil on the veranda a torture of what-ifs. Lila brewed tea, her hand on my shoulder. She'll circle back. Hawthorns don't quit, they detour. Midnight brought her return, rain-drenched, collapsing into my arms. I drove to the state line. Thought of starting over alone. Sobs racked her. But you're my compass, Nina. Without you I'm lost. We mended in the quiet hours, bodies and souls knitting. Promises renewed under the eaves. Harlan, eavesdropper unintended, left a note next morn. The study's yours. Build what you will. Winter crept in, frost etching windows like lace, the plantation hunkering against chill. We transformed the guest wing. My tools in the sunroom, her desk by the bay window overlooking fields we'd one day till ourselves. Holiday lights strung defiantly, illuminating gatherings where Lila's tales drew laughs, even Harlan's chuckle rumbling rare. But betrayal's echo resounded clearest at Christmas, package unwrapped. A locket from Evelyn, twin to Savannah's, engraved inside. Love fiercely despite the cost. Tears flowed, her head on my lap by the fire. She knew. All along. The revelation thawed final barriers. Harlan joined us for eggnog, toasting awkwardly to new traditions. His eyes held apology, the first unguarded. Spring unfurled tentative, dogwoods blushing pink, mirroring our rekindling. Yet Atlanta's pull tugged. An offer formalized, board seat with flexible terms. Savannah wavered, conference calls stretching late. I saw it coming, the fracture line, her packing for a quick trip, suitcase light but heart heavy. Just interviews. Back by week's end. Lies small as seeds sprouting thorns. The airport drop-off, her kiss lingering, my be safe laced with foreboding. She stayed longer. Extensions, text claimed, days bleeding to week 2. Calls grew sparse, voice distant amid clinks of glasses, urban hum. Lila confirmed the dread. Spotted her at a gala. On the arm of that partner. Arm Nina. Not just business. Betrayal sharp as shattered crystal. I drove to Atlanta unannounced. Rain-slick streets mirroring turmoil. The high-rise gleaming like false promise. She opened the door in silk, scent of cologne not mine. Nina? What? Who's he? I demanded, photo from a society page clutched, her laughing, his hand on her waist. Networking. Defiant then crumbling. It's nothing. But the offer. It's security. For us. Us. Laughter bitter. Or your old skin slipping back? The door closed behind me, argument raging in hushed tones, her defending ambition, me the erosion of soul. 10 years I hid for family, she cried. Now for future? Hiding again. With him as prop. Dawn found us spent, her choosing words like shells. I need this. Temporarily. Trust me. Trust the currency we'd bankrupted. I left, key tossed on the console, highway blurring tears. Back in Monroe, the plantation loomed empty. Harlan's concern a quiet meal shared. She'll learn, he said, surprising wisdom. As I did. Weeks carved hollow, garage work mechanical, heart idling. Lila dragged me to the rusty nail, may circle a salve. Stories of loves reclaimed, lost, reforged. Then the call. Savannah, voice breaking. I quit. Today. He was a mask, Nina. Like all the others. Relief flooded but scars puckered. Prove it. Come home. She did, train rumbling in at dusk, arms open. The embrace was fierce, apologies woven into kisses, the orchard witness to vows recast. Summer bloomed full, fields golden, our life a tentative harvest. Harlan signed over parcels, not all but enough, trust rebuilt in deeds. Lila planned a commitment rite small under the oaks. Rings exchanged, May officiating with river water blessings. Yet the by-kitch lingered a undernote. Evelyn's ghost in the locket, Harlan's lingering glances, Monroe's murmurs fading but not silent. One evening as fireflies danced, Savannah traced my palm. We almost lost. Almost, I echoed. But here. The future stretched, uncharted, perhaps Vermont winters, Atlanta ventures on our terms. Love no longer hidden, a light against the dark. Autumn's blaze crowned the oaks in fire, mirroring the blaze within as Savannah and I plotted our exodus. Not flight but flight path deliberate. The plantation's parcels sold piecemeal to locals, funds seeding a down payment on a craftsman bungalow in Portland, Oregon. Rain-kissed streets, craft breweries humming, a queer enclave where magnolias yielded to evergreens. Harlan's signature on the deeds came grudging, then graceful, a father's concession wrapped in "Don't be strangers." Packing distilled us. Her heirlooms culled to essentials, Evelyn's locket, a quilt from girlhood, my tools boxed with care, grease rags folded like flags of independence. Lila orchestrated the send-off, a bon voyage barbecue under strung lights, Monroe's eclectic orbiting. May with her fiddle, cousins thawed by ale, even the sheriff toasting to fresh starts. Harlan pulled Savannah aside as dusk deepened, their silhouettes etched against embers. You were right, he murmured, audible in the hush. Legacies not land. It's you. Her nod, tear-streaked, sealed mending. The drive west unspooled like therapy. Interstates slicing heartland, Savannah's playlist weaving Springsteen anthems with Indigo Girls' laments, our hands linked over the console. Stops marked milestones. Motel in Memphis where we danced to jukebox blues. Badlands vastness dwarfing old wounds. Motels giving way to airbums where mornings lingered lazy. Portland welcomed with drizzle and warmth. Our bungalow nestled in the hills, porch swing creaking hello. Backyard plot for tomatoes and herbs. Roots weed plant deep. I revived as auto consultant, garage collective buzzing with queer mechanics trading tips. Savannah launched ethical consulting. Virtual bridges to Atlanta Sands chains. Life rhythm Ned knew. Farmers markets where we haggled for dahlias. Hikes along the Columbia Gorge where echoes of our fights dissolved in wind. Nights, bodies entwined under down comforters, whispers tracing scars, hers from hiding, mine from waiting, into constellations of strength. But by Kitch's tendrils reached even here. A letter from Monroe, Harlan's script shaky, announcing his diagnosis, cancer late stage, the plantation's final claim. Savannah read it by lamplight, face crumpling. He wants me there. End. Guilt's hook sank deep. Go, I urged, though fear clawed. Families not severed. She flew east alone, days stretching to week. Calls laced with hospital beeps and unspoken pulls. He's frail, she'd report. Asking forgiveness. Then the silence. 2 days radio void. Panic propelled me airborne, Monroe's airport a time warp. Humid air slapping welcome, Lila's truck idling curbside. She's at the house, she said, eyes shadowed. With him. And complications. The plantation loomed altered. Vines rampant, windows dim. Inside, Harlan Abed in the master. Evelyn's portrait sentinel. Savannah beside him, hand in his, her face gaunt, grief's prelude. Nina, she breathed, rising. Harlan's eyes, milky but sharp, fixed on me. The mechanic. Come to finish the job. Father. Her warning soft. He chuckled, wheeze rattle. No, girl. Sit. I've words left. I perched, air thick with liniment and regret. I was wrong. He began, voice threadbare. Thought blood bought loyalty, but it's love that binds. You too. You're Evelyn's echo. She chose me over her fire, regretted it quiet. Don't you dare. Tears traced his temples. Savannah's grip whitened my knuckles. Daddy. Go back west. Live loud. Send pictures, grandkids maybe adopted or otherwise. Make me proud proper. The absolution washed, a baptism long deferred. He slipped away that night, monitors flatlining soft, Savannah's wail the eulogy. Funeral mirrored her mother's, clay redder, crowd thinner, but she stood unbowed, arm through mine, rings glinting open. Whispers hushed. Monroe, chastened, offered casseroles and condolences genuine. Back in Portland, grief bloomed wild. Savannah wandering fog-shrouded trails, journal filling with letters unsent to Harlan, apologies, adorations. I anchored, meals coaxed, nights held fierce against the void. Spring's thaw brought Lila visiting, fiddle in tow, her tales a bridge east-west. Sold the big house, she announced over cider. Turning it co-op, artists, families, misfits. Your legacy lives. Joy sparked, tentative. We hosted first, table groaning with potluck from neighbors, queer couples swapping stories, a trans kid from the block teaching chess. Laughter echoed, filling hollows. Yet the ultimate fracture loomed subtle. Savannah's restlessness, eyes drifting to laptop screens, Atlanta's ghost in emails. One eve, post-dinner haze, she confessed. An offer. Led a foundation, social justice, remote but influential. Heart stuttered. And I turned it down. Smile wry. Told them I'm building here. With you. Relief crested but doubts undertow pulled. Was it choice or chains recast? Summer solstice, we renewed under gorge cliffs. May flown in, circle of friends chanting, river roaring benediction. Rings reforged, simpler, silver bands etched with pines. Winter's hush tested. Blizzards blanketing, cabin fever stirring old dances. My wanderlust clashing her nesting. Arguments flaring over thermostats and travel. You're clipping wings again, I'd accuse. You're flighty, chasing horizons, she'd retort. Therapy bridged, couples sessions in a co-op space. Words unpacking decades debris. Her inheritance trauma. My abandonment scars from a youth adrift. Vulnerability flowered, turning barbs to bridges. Spring 2026, Lila's wedding pulled us east. Her to a barista from the nail, ceremony in the co-op orchard, Hawthorne ghosts benevolent. Monroe embraced. Toasts to the girls who started it all. Harlan's empty chair draped in quilt. Back west, pregnancy whispers tempted. Adoption paths navigated, paperwork a labyrinth of hope. A boy from foster fray arrived tentative. Wide eyes, trust earned in bedtime stories and wrench lessons. Parenthood reshaped. Sleepless nights tag-teamed, his giggles a symphony drowning doubts. Savannah's eyes, once storm-tossed, settled serene, locket passed to tiny fingers. Years layered by Kitsch's palette softening to patina. Anniversaries marked with coast drives, Portland pride floats where we waved from our truck, rainbow flags snapping proud. One decade's end under bungalow eaves, fireflies winking like old accomplices, she leaned into me. 10 years hidden. 10 free. Worth every tear. I kissed her temple, heart full. And counting. The river murmured agreement, carrying echoes of Monroe's clay to Oregon's sea. Love's current, unbidden, unbound. No, that wasn't the end. The rail unraveling waited. Coiled in summer's swelter 2 years on. Our son Elias, Eli to us with Harlan's stubborn chin and my quick laugh, had just turned 6. His world a whirl of Legos and library dragons. Portland's rhythm hummed steady. My shop thriving on electric conversions, Savannah's foundation funding queer youth havens from afar, weekends at the coast building sand empires against tides. The call came mid-July, Lila's voice crackled urgent. Trouble brewing, save. Cousin Theo, that weasel from the photo stunt, suing over the co-op sale. Claims Harlan promised him shares, twists it to fraud. Dragging your name through mud, calling you unfit heiress for. Well, us. Rage simmered, old venom resurfacing. Theo, the bitter making kin, Harlan's estranged nephew, eyes ever on the till. The lawsuit landed heavy. Depositions dredging our past, affidavits from Monroe gossips painting Savannah as wayward, me as corrupting influence. Media nibbled, local rags to Atlanta Journal, headlines sly, Hawthorne heirs scandalous legacy. Savannah armored up, lawyer from Portland flying coach, but cracks showed. Nights pacing Eli's questions. Why's Uncle Theo mad, Mama? Drawing evasive smiles. Family squabbles bug. Nothing a fort can't fix. I built that fort in the backyard, blankets and flashlights. Eli's giggles a brief reprieve. But tension threaded our days. Her withdrawing to calls, me overworking engines till knuckles bled. The deposition hit like gut punch. Theo's team subpoenaing our college emails, motel receipts, artifacts of hidden years exhumed for spectacle. Savannah flew solo, returning hollow-eyed. They twisted it. Made our love evidence of instability. Instability. The word festered, echoing Evelyn's warnings, Harlan's fears. That night, lovemaking turned mechanical, her mind adrift. What if they win? She whispered, post, voice small. The co-op crumbles, Lila's dream with it. Then we rebuild. Again. But doubt mirrored hers, our fragile idol, Eli's stability, teetering on southern grudges. Lila rallied. Video calls plotting countersuit, exposing Theo's embezzlement from estate fringes. Allies surfaced, May testifying to our upstanding ways. Even the sheriff penning character refs. Portland Boyd too. Foundation donors doubling down. Queer network fundraisers swelling war chest. Yet the toll mounted. Savannah's migraines flaring, Eli's drawings darkening. Stick figures in storms. I stepped up, school runs and story hours, but resentment brewed unspoken. Her blood pulling us back to battlefields we'd fled. Climax crested in Macon Courthouse. Autumn leaves swirling like confetti, ironic. We drove east, Eli boarded with neighbors, the highway a rewind to our first escapes. Savannah's hand trembled in mine. I squeezed, anchor steady. The trial unfolded, theater absurd. Theo slick-suited, spinning yarns of stolen birthright. His lawyer parading printouts. Our kisses pixelated, headlines blaring. Objections flew, judge. A stern woman with southern steel, gaveling order. Our turn. Savannah on stand, voice unwavering. Love didn't steal, it freed. Theo's greed did the rest. Exhibits flipped. Bank records of his schemes, witness after witness dismantling his throne. Closing arguments thundered. His side pleading tradition, ours humanity. Lila's testimony gut-wrenching. Family's choice, not chains. The jury, diverse mirror to changing tides. Deliberated hours that stretched eternal. Verdict dropped like rain after drought. Theo's claims dismissed, countersuit awarded. Co-op secured, his assets garnished. Cheers erupted soft, hugs fierce in the hall. Savannah sagged against me, tears salt on my neck. It's over. Not quite, the judge noted, post, pulling us aside. Heard your story. Ever think advocacy? This town's needing voices like yours. Seeds planted but exhaustion shadowed triumph. Drive home westbound, we detoured Monroe. Co-op blooming. Lila's tour of murals and community plots a bomb. Graveside, Harlan and Evelyn Stone side by side, we laid wildflowers. Rest easy, Savannah murmured. We've honored it our way. Portland reclaimed us, fall's chill crisping air. Eli's welcome, whoops and pie mended frayed edges. But the trial's wake stirred depths. Savannah proposing we pen a memoir. Hidden hawthorn. Truths transmuted to torch. I hesitated, privacy's veil thin, but saw the fire in her. Alchemist turning pain to purpose. Together, I conceded. Our story. Winter wove recovery. Writing sessions by hearth. Eli doodling covers. Lila contributing chapters raw. Publishers courted, deal ink spring. Book tour mapped but scaled. Readings in safe havens, virtual for Eli's sake. Launch night, Portland bookstore packed. Queer icons, Monroe expats. Eli beaming front row. Savannah read the hook. Our first kiss, electric in stacks. Applause thundered, signings stretching late. After, alone on the greenway, Willamette glittering, she turned. Betrayal taught us. Theo's but ours too, hiding's the deepest cut. I nodded, ring-catching starlight. And forgiveness? That's the grace. Eli grew, questions probing. Did Grandma know about you too? We'd nod, tails tempered. Evelyn's hidden fire, a legend gentle. Years layered gold. Book bestseller modest. Speaking gig exceeding scholarships. Co-op thriving as model. Harlan's trust, unlocked posthumous. Funded it all, irony sweet. One eve, Eli 12 announcing his crush. Boy from soccer, nerves adorable. We guided gentle. Love's yours to claim, no hiding. He hugged fierce. Like you did. Legacy cycled by Kitsch's arc-bending human. From Monroe's clay to Oregon's loam, love's roots deep, unyielding. Yet echoes lingered. A letter from Theo, jailbound for frauds unearthed. Apology scrawled. Envy blinded. Forgive if you can. Savannah burned it. Ashes to wind. Forgiven. But forgotten? Never. That's the truth's edge, wounds scar strong. Stories scar stronger. Ours etched in ink and earth, a testament. Society bends but souls break free. The memoir's ripple spread wider than we'd charted. Waves lapping unexpected shores. Fall tours extended. Savannah keynoting at Emory, our alma mater, lecture hall packed with students mirroring our younger selves. Wide-eyed questioning. I tagged along, Eli in tow, his sketchpad capturing the podium's glow. Q&A turned confessional. A girl in back row voice quaver. How do you survive the hiding? Savannah's pause, eyes finding mine. One truth at a time. And her, always her. Applause swelled, but backstage she wilted. It's draining, unearthing ghosts for strangers. We cut the tour short, retreating to Portland's hush, bungalow sanctuary, Eli's school play stealing spotlight. His dragon roar eliciting tears proud. Holidays anchored. Lila flying west, fiddle duets with Eli, tales of co-op expansions. Now a haven for queer elders, Monroe's redemption arc. Winter's grip loosened to spring revelations. Savannah's foundation partnering with Emory, scholarships for Southern queer youth. Hawthorne Bridges, named Rye. Applications flooded, stories searing. Runaways, church exiles, echoes of our silence. Eli bloomed 13, braces glinting, debates over dinner fierce. Climate, identity, the world's weight. You fought for love, he'd say. What's my fight? Whatever calls, I'd reply, Savannah adding. But never alone. Her words profit. Summer brought Eli's circle expanding. First queer alliance at school, him elected rep, flyers home crumpled with nerves. We attended meetings, periphery proud, watching him navigate the minefields we'd mapped. Yet personal tides shifted. Harlan's trust dispersed, final windfall modest. We funneled to the bridges, but a sliver to dream. Sabbatical Europe whispers. Savannah balked initial. Eli's roots here. But relented, passport stamped for autumn. The betrayal's final echo surfaced subtle. Atlanta call, old partner contrite. Offering amends, donation to our fund, apology veiled. Saw the book. Eye-opener. Savannah accepted, gracious. Growth's the real inheritance. Voyage unfolded tapestry. Paris first, sane strolls evoking Evelyn's lost tutor. Gelato melting as we laughed over croissants. Eli devoured museums, sketching Eiffel ironies. Rome's ruins whispered impermanence. Vatican cues sparking faith talks gentle. Greece capped it. Santorini whites against azure. Cliffside villa where we swam naked at dawn. Eli snorkeling oblivious. Evenings ouzo tales. Our Monroe genesis, his future fancies. I'll write too, he vowed. Your story but mine. Back home reinvigorated, changes cascaded. Savannah scaling foundation to CEO. Board diverse. My shop unionizing, green initiatives blooming. Eli's alliance thrived, prom dates navigated, boy with curls, corsage pinned proud. Climax revisited soft. 5 years post-trial. Theo paroled early, letter second arriving, rehabbed, remorse raw. Read your book in lockup. Changed me. Permission to visit the co-op. Savannah mulled, then yes, supervised, Lila chaperone. Report back. Awkward amends, Theo touring murals, tears at Harlan's plaque. He stayed, she told me. Helping now. Redemption's real. Humanity's arc bending. We hosted him once, Portland neutral. Dinner strained but civil, Eli curious observer. Everyone deserves a rewrite, Savannah said post, his nod echoing. Eli's high school loom, choices branching. Emory tempting. To honor roots, or read local. Stay close. We guided neutral, his pick Emory cycle closing opening. Graduation dawn, rain pattering like applause, we drove him south. Bungalow emptying echoey but pride swelling. Campus drop-off, dorm stark, hugs lingering. Call anytime, Savannah whispered. Drive back north, silence companionable. Empty nest, I mused. She smiled, hand on knee. New chapter. Us again. Portland fall welcomed solo. Hikes reclaiming vigor. Date nights rediscovered. Wine bars, live jazz, bodies relearning rhythm sans interruptions. Winter brought surprise. Savannah's manuscript second. Bridges built. Foundation saga. Our love footnote enduring. Dedication. To Nina, compass eternal. To Eli Explorer Bolt. To Ghosts. Rest woven in. Publication Spring Launch Hybrid. Monroe Co-op Virtual, Portland in person. Eli zoomed from dorm beaming. Proud moms. Post-reading Greenway Walk Willamette whispering. 20 years, she tallied. From hiding to this. From ashes, I amended. To always. Eli's visits bridged. Holidays home tales tumbling boyfriend's fleeting activism fierce. College breaks he interned at the foundation bridges his passion. One eve post-grad him 22 announcing. Met someone. Serious. Bringing home. We prepped, nerves parental. Dinner table set, questions reigned. His partner Alex, artist from Savannah, irony thick. Arrived shy, sketches in tow. Laughter flowed, stories sinking. His queer awakening amid Hawthorne lore. Later, Porch Swing Creek, Savannah leaned in. Full circle. Overflowing, I agreed. Legacy flowered. Co-op model franchised. Books curricula in Southern schools. Our tale cautionary turned celebratory. Lila's retirement party virtual toast. Y'all sparked it. Revolution quiet. Theo reformed keynote there redemption's face applause healing. Eli's wedding 5 years on Alex and Tux Gorge Vista us officiating tandem. Vows echoed ours. Through hidings and horizons. Honeymoon theirs we slipped to Monroe Co-op evolved. Elders wing named Reyes Hawthorne. Graves visited flowers fresh. Back west bungalow graying graceful. Us silvered but sparked. Mornings coffee porch, hands laced. Regrets? She asked once. None worth keeping. Kiss sealed. Dusk falls fireflies wink. Echo of beginnings. Love story no end just ever unfolding grace. Human flawed free.